Hello everybody, my name is Biffa and this is the first of 13 planned Dev Diary deep dives coming every Monday from today all the way through until September. As you can see, there are lots of exciting topics that we're going to be covering. Next week's traffic AI has particularly caught my eye, so be sure to subscribe. You'll be here as well next Monday and every Monday afterwards to be looking with me at all of these fascinating topics for Cities Skylines 2. Today, the topic in feature number 1 is road tools. So let's take a deep dive into the released video and also the written dev diary as found on Colossal Order's website and dig out every single secret we can find. And here we go. We're going to be pausing this a lot as we go through because there's so many different things I want to pick up in the video. This first junction here, I think, looks absolutely amazing as well. Very interesting junction. We can see suspended pedestrian paths over the top here. I think we'll get to see those a little bit closer later on. Very complicated roadway setups. Now remember, this is unmodded as well, so that's worth keeping in mind as we go through. We have roundabouts over here and we're going to see this junction from a couple of different angles as well. So if we let this run on, we'll be able to see in the very next screen, there we go, integrated tram lines which are down the middle of the road going across a bridge over here, and again we're going to see that from another angle. Lots of motorcycles being used as well in the city, which is good. No bicycles, been pointed out by a lot of people. No bicycles yet, maybe. I don't know whether we're going to see that in the future. We will see what happens. And this is the junction that I really wanted to take a look at. So what do you see here? Well, we've got a 4-lane road coming in from the right, and then it splits off into 2 lanes, and we've got the 2 lanes that come in this way to merge. Now, that would have been extremely difficult to manage in Cities Skylines 1. You know how many times you place down a highway and then try to split it off with 3 lanes or 2 lanes. You have to sort of a wonky bend in the top. But then further on, we've got this little setup over here, which you might sort of look at and think, oh, that's not very realistic. But, you know, to me, it is really. And having these lanes so close together and split off, this little tiny lane that goes around here, this one, I mean, without mods, to me, that is absolutely fantastic. And then right through the middle, I'm assuming this is perhaps the bridge that we saw a minute ago. So you've got the tram lines coming up the middle here and going straight through the junction, and not even, the fact that it's not lined up perfectly in the middle is amazing to me, because even perhaps with mods, you know, you'd have to have node controller, some sort of anarchy mod, all sorts of things to do something as simple as this. But I just think that looks fantastic over there. And again, we've got then these merging into a 4-lane road again. Then we get into a junction with all sorts of other things. So very interesting looking junction. I think we're going to see that from a few different angles as the video progresses. And then something I want to mention here, you'll notice on each of the intersections, we get these sort of markings of the road. Now, I'm sort of assuming that that's almost like a visual representation of where the lane will go, which it does. So this one here, you can see is an arrow straight on, an arrow left. Or this one here is a better example. Arrow left, arrow straight on. You can see it curves around and goes straight on. Whether we can turn that on and off, whether that's automatic, whether that's just to show the way the cars and the lorries, the vehicles are sort of ruining the road, you know, wearing the road, I suppose is the better word. That might be it. Not sure what I think about that. One minute I like it, the other minute I think it's too much. So whether that will be adjustable or not, I don't know, but that's something that seems to be available now. So yeah, we'll run with that. Here we go, and then we're seeing this road junction again over here. So it looks like that was the bridge coming in. But further on down here, that's the junction we were just looking at. And then see every single one. Is that like a mini roundabout there and here? Or is that just the way that the road markings are done? But if you have a look down the bottom here at this section, now we're getting lanes that are splitting and merging off. That's something we'll come back to a bit later. So this easier way of drawing roads, we've got a lovely lane coming off and then it splits. So we've got a 3-lane road here, and then 2 of the lanes are taken off this way and 1 of them is taken off that way. Again, all with no mods, which is fantastic addition to the game. But I love the way the road markings are all being done here. The nice little dash lines where you pull off. A feeder lane, I suppose, coming in the other way. Well, this is merging in, isn't it? Am I going the right direction? Yeah, so the 2 lanes merging into the 3 into a Well, that's a 5 and a 3, isn't it? So we've got an asymmetric road going on there, and whether it changes further on. But I just think that is looking absolutely brilliant for road tools so far. Again, down here, we've got trees on road, but they're in the right place, as where they should be. You know, we expect road with trees on, which are good. And then this T-junction that goes along here. We've got this road that comes out at a weird angle. Again, because there's cars parked along the side here. Again, without mods, probably extremely difficult to do. So, yeah, lots of exciting new options coming up with road tools. And here I wanted to mention something that will be coming up again a bit later. We've got the splitting off of here. One goes that way, one goes this way. Dedicated lanes, very good. Nice looking tunnel here, built up at the side. Very good. And then a nice wall along the side here where this road is lifted up. It looks to me like there's a wall all the way along there. And then an extra piece of wall here, perhaps. Whether this piece of road and land is higher than this piece here where the roads are splitting off. That's what it looks like to me. I'm pretty sure this junction, we see it a few times in the video, but we'll continue on. Yeah, here we go. I think that's this, isn't it? Because this is all raised up and there seems to be like retaining walls and perhaps sound barriers, which are mentioned as well along here. Suspended pedestrian bridge with the cables holding it up, which is good. Lots of lane splitting and merging. And the same with the train lines. You've got lots of train lines going on up here. And then they merge here, split out again. I mean, that is something we could do, obviously, before in Cities Skylines 1. But good to point out. We've got row houses along here. Nice tall skyscrapers. Lots of things going on. If you spot anything as well, let me know in the comments below. Because I'll be very interested to hear what you spot that I miss. Okay, so she's now talking about all the pipes. So lots of you spotted this in my last video. We have pipes beneath the roads where they belong, of course, as City Planner says. But we can see the 3 pipes there. I'm assuming water, sewage, and electricity are the 3 under there. I think that's what she says anyway. But under all these different roads, whether that's all the roads, but we're only seeing that on these ones. And listen to what she's saying as well. Something else I spotted here. Oh, look, we can see them, can't we? Look, so that's going to be water and electricity, I think, there, or water and sewage, perhaps. But here, we've got water trade, and I think I might have mentioned that before. So it seems like we can trade, perhaps, an excess of what we're making on the water, whether that's with electricity as well. We shall see. I think that possibly popped up in the last video or the next one. Or that would be good. I'm assuming if we've got water trade, then electricity trade would be a good idea. Oh, and also down here, look at this. Minus 175,240, I call them simoleons, credits, whatever you want to call them, an hour. It seems like it's harder to make money in City Skylines too. We're losing, is that population, isn't it? Yeah, but look at that money going down. So I know this is like a test city built, wasn't it, for the trailers and stuff. So, you know, New Dollarton, not dumping on you at all, of course, because it's, you know, different than actually making a city for yourself to build. But yeah, worth keeping in mind. That's interesting. The fact the city's still going. So whether that's that it's been a sort of unlock all type city or I don't know, but I just thought I'd point that out anyway. Interesting. If that's an extra challenge to be making money in the city, then yeah, definitely going to be looking out for that. Okay, so placing down some healthcare items here. Nothing new particularly that I can spot that's here. Okay, now we've got the different types of roads. I thought it's interesting. We've got simple curve, complex curve, start, midpoint, bend, then bend again for the end point. And then you've got the continuous one, which is sort of what we had before. We've obviously got all these different snappings. We've got right angle. This one, which I'm assuming is sort of grid, because we've got this grid up here, which we're just about to see now. So for those that do like grids, you're going to love this tool. For those that don't like grids, maybe not so much. But again, we've got the cost, we've got the steepness, I think that is, or the angle, of course. Yeah, we've got the length, the steepness. That's what I was looking for there. So it's a nice piece of flat land. So all these extra sorts of information. Oh, fantastic. Don't have to install new mods for those as well. So that's going to be really, really good. And then this picture here, a few things I'm sort of spotting. So we've got some large parks over here. We've also got tennis courts. Maybe these are parks as well. Looks like perhaps these are ploppable parks. Some sort of service building, a school perhaps, something like that. Similar over here. Looks to me like a lot of the service type buildings are a lot bigger. This to me looks like, I mean, I'm just guessing, a hospital or something like that. Maybe a university with all the colour that we've got on the side. But I'm thinking the scale to me, it seems a lot bigger. and a lot in keeping with the size of the houses and the other buildings that we've got around. Again, over here we've got some sort of big office complex buildings. We've got another one over here. We've got the lovely roads over here. So we've got roundabouts that have been popped in. Got these sort of junctions that we've seen. So we've got like, yeah, three-way, two-directional roads which have a particular name which my brain can't think of right now, going through here with trees and then all joining up. And I'm loving the way you can make these realistic-looking roads without any mods now. Straight in the game is just fantastic. There we go, another big service building up here. More parks over there. I love the way the water looks as well when the sun reflects on it. I think this is the other side of that, in quotes, hospital or university, whatever it is, building here that we spotted earlier. So we're getting different views of the city. And then, of course, here we've got little roundabouts in the middle. Can't miss those. Big sports complexes, big buildings. I'm searching for the word. I don't know what they are, do I? You know, these ones here. We've got this one over here. So these are views that we've seen before with all the different bridges around the place. Is that like a wind turbine? I don't know what's going on over there. But I think that sort of view, it just looks fantastic. I love it. And how about that bridge? Doesn't that just look fantastic? So what's that? 4-lane bridge, I think, going over the water there. Suspension bridge. Looks absolutely lovely. Oh, is that the hospital we were seeing from above? Maybe. And a nice waterside industrial area as well.
Intersections have been overhauled in Cities Skylines too. Placement rules are less restrictive.
Okay, so less restrictive placement rules. So that to me seems like not going to have an anarchy mod per se, but just the rules are a lot looser. So you can do things like this perhaps without worrying about things clipping each other or all that sort of stuff. We've already seen that with the runoff lanes, the run-on lanes, when things merge or split, works really well. And also, I think we're going to mention about intersections as well in a second.
And you can use pre-made intersections on new and existing roads.
Yeah, so using pre-made intersections on new and existing roads. So again, that was a mod, wasn't it? You would take an intersection, place it over roads that you already had, and it would use those roads and incorporate it into the intersection if you lined it up correctly. So again, another mod that's being added to the game, which is fantastic. I'm loving all these additions that are coming to the game, which are really good. And roundabouts. We have all sorts of different roundabouts. They sound very excited about those, which are good. And I think this is great as well. So again, we've got the tram lines coming through here. And it's just the fact that it's not all lined up perfectly accurately. You know, the way it sort of comes through at an angle like this, which is great. And I've just noticed down here a yield or a give way sign. So we've seen, well, we're going to see traffic lights, stop signs. But we've got yield, give way signs down here. The sawtooth crossing thingamabobs. These little signs here for the roundabouts, which are good, the road signs. But the fact that these tram lines are sort of off kilter, that these roads are very close together, I think we're going to absolutely love drawing all the roads in Cities Skylines 2. To me, it just is going to be amazing. And also over here as well, the way this is sort of cutting across this train line and merging in as well, you know, that to me looks really, really good. And I love the different sizes of roundabouts that you can automatically just plop in. So I've got 4 different sizes from the mini to the maxi, I'm going to call it, roundabouts. But the fact you can just drop them in onto a junction that you've already made, to me is just absolutely brilliant. It's got underground mode here as well. Does that mean we can put roundabouts underground? Oh, that's like a whole new thing.
A whole new way.
The whole new way. Oh, didn't I just say that? I copyrighted that phrase. No, I'm joking. We all agree. Very excited with the roundabouts. I'm glad they're in the game. And I like this little bit in the middle as well. It looks fantastic. So here, this is good. So we've got traffic lights that we can turn on and off. We've got stop signs. We saw yield signs already. And the fact they're not listed here makes me think that's the default, that a yield or a giveaway sign is default, and then you can add these on. No right, no left. I'd like to see a no straight on as well. Whether that is possible, whether that will come with a mod a bit later on, because that could really help us to fine-tune dedicated turning lanes, and whether these are possible by lane or by road. If it was by lane, that would be chef's kiss, even better. Then we've got turning off intersections. We've got sort of blank pathway, grass with trees, lights, and then I'm assuming that's sound barrier. That would make sense to me. Yeah, so the stop sign there, let's just go back a spot on that. Looks like, yeah, that's only a one lane each direction, isn't it? So we're not going to necessarily see how that's going to work. So it would have looked like that at the top here. Now it just looks like a left-hand turn. So how that actually works on roads with more than one lane going in each direction, we'll have to see. Oh, there we go. Sound barriers. Yep, this is the one down here. It's got massive sound barriers around there, which, of course, are going to block the sound. That'd be a big benefit. And look at this suspension bridge. Pedestrian suspension bridge. All the people using it up there. All the citizens walking across there, which is great. Great to see that. So parking lots, another new feature. Now that is worth just talking about for a second. I want to ask, does this mean the end to pocket cars right from the start? Have you seen in any videos people with pocket cars? You'll have to let me know. Sometimes we see cars disappear. Yeah. Oh, that looked like a parking garage of some sort, didn't it? Look. Oh, no, that's like a barrier going out the parking lot. I thought it was going into that building. Yeah, so barriers that go up and down in parking lots. That's fantastic.
This has come early. You can even add decorative touches if you want to. They don't just make your city pretty. They can be useful too. So those trees you use to line sidewalks, add charm.
Add charm. And what is that? Is it just add charm as in it just makes it look nice? Or is it add charm as in that's a game mechanic that affects other stuff? So increased charm in an area, increases land value, increases who wants to live there, all that sort of thing in the game. I don't know. We've got lights on here and we've got the trees on here as well. That'll be interesting to find out a little bit more about that when we get to play the game. Looking at some of these buildings here. Look, got stairs going down. Got built-in garages on here as well. People sat outside on benches. A lot of detail going into these sidewalks here, which is really good. So here's some of the larger parks and buildings. I like all this, all built into the sea over here. Football pitch on the sea. You don't want to kick the ball over the top. You'll never get it back. Unless you have people fishing the ball out the water. But yeah, I'm loving the way these cities are looking. Graphics. Now, this is good. This is what we were talking about earlier, the splitting and merging. So we've got a 3-lane road going in here because we've gone from a 2. We put a 3 in, so one of them can be the lane going off. And until the lane goes off, it has this sort of arrow automatically there saying you've got to pull back in because it's going back to 2, so that's good. But then you can easily take a 1-lane road, and you notice how it went click, click, click. So you can sort of, I'm going to show you that again. Watch what it does. Look, it goes click, click, click. It sort of like grabs onto here, onto here, onto here. So it's almost like instead of one big node like we had before, there's a node per lane. And now that is just blowing my mind suddenly. Is that, let's look at that again. A node per lane. Let's just watch that. There's probably a way of watching it in slow motion, but let's watch it. It does, doesn't it? It goes click, click, click. And we get all these markings on, 180 degrees. And then, yeah, it's going out. So it's going from a 2 with an extra lane to shoot off. And I think that is just absolutely amazing for no mods. And what does that mean? If we have nodes per lane, that's how we're getting all the crazy road junctions that we're seeing. That's brilliant. We can delete roads. Oh, who would have thought that could happen? But here we go. Look, we've got some of the merging in, so we automatically get the arrows. So that must be coming down this way. So 2 lane and 1 lane, perhaps from a raised junction up here coming down. I'm loving it all. I am loving it. It's looking fantastic. Trains, which is what we've got, which is great. Lots of little details for that. Parking lots off to the side. Fences over here as well. I don't know what that's part of. Whether that's another railway station on the other side. But yeah, nice that we've got trains built in, which is good. I would expect nothing less. But I love the look of this bridge. It looks like the San Francisco bridge, doesn't it? Sort of curving over with the curve of the earth, with the highway going on here. Oh, absolutely beautiful. Right, there's even more to learn. We're now going to look at the Dev Diary and pick out some new things from that as well. So yeah, the first picture on the Dev Diary says, how many features can you spot? So yeah, let me know in the comments below. But I think this is where I was seeing the lights on the buildings. I knew it was somewhere. So they're definitely got lights on during the day. So I thought that was interesting. Nice big sort of, it looks like a church building there on the left. And again, we've got the scale. which I'm seeing in a lot of buildings, a lot of scale going on, which is good. So yeah, looking forward to that. So let's continue on through the dev diary. So then there's a bit of information about how to place the grid. So it explains how to do that. You can define the width, the length with 3 clicks. So I think that is something, if you like using grids in your city, that's great. We've got the replace tool, which sort of seems to replace the upgrade tool. So, you know, does what it says on the tin. But now you can have grass, trees, wider sidewalks or sound barriers. So that was wider sidewalks, wasn't mentioned in the video. And it sounds like you can do that to any roads that you've got. It says to existing roads. So you place your roads down, then decide if you want grass, trees, wider sidewalks or sound barriers. Then the parallel mode, which again, replacing mods that we've had before, sweeping highways like in this picture. Which I'm assuming, again, you can do that with any road. So we've seen it with bridges, haven't we, in the video that we had before, the trailer. But it says as easy as drawing a single road. So that is just going to be fantastic for adding something other than grids to your city. Then we had all the different snapping tools, which we've spoken about before. We had all the different curve tools. But it talks about when you're placing a road, we now have the elevation angle it shows us, the slope steepness, and the length of the road as well, which is good, and also pipes beneath the roads where they belong. And then something that was spotted by the eagle-eyed of you out there, drawing across roads you already have an automatic intersection, so not stopping at each road, going from one end to the other, and having intersections built on all of the roads. I think that is brilliant. And then the cut and fill, as they call it, construction for roads. So we can see in the right-hand picture, as it curves round, I'm assuming the fill is the bottom part where you've got like that wall, and then the cut is the top part as it goes through the hill, and it's automatically putting those in there as before. That would just be assets and mods and move it and stretching things and lining it all up. That would be a big thing, wouldn't it? But then the left-hand side of that picture, roads, so it's not just trees on roads, it's roads on roads. We've got a road above a road. Which you could sort of sneaky do in vanilla. I've seen Imperator do that sort of thing. But now it just seems that you just do an elevated road and draw straight across another roads, and the pillars will like adjust themselves or something. Maybe certain size roads above other roads. I guess we'll see. But it says sufficient clearance. So we have to make sure that we do that right for it to work. But another very interesting and excellent addition to the game. Then we have the splitting and the merging for the highway. Again, brilliant. So for lane mathematics aficionados out there, this is what we've been waiting for. So we can split roads off, bring them back on, keep the lane mathematics going, and that is always going to help the traffic. So we've got 3 roads going down to 2. We've got 1 splitting off. Whether we'll be able to add some Hugo there, I don't know. If Traffic Manager ever comes out for Cities Skylines 2, whether we'll need it or not. Tune in next week, don't forget, for the Traffic AI deep dive. That'll be interesting to find out how they work. Mentions as well that asymmetrical roads are going to be available in various different sizes. We've got pictures here of different road optimizations and roundabouts that are put in. But I like this one here. So as well as adding the trees, wide sidewalks, all that sort of thing, we can now add bus lanes. And we've already seen the tram tracks, but the bus lanes onto, I'm assuming, any roads that you like. And it mentions you can create dedicated roads that only buses and service vehicles operate on. And then tram tracks can be built separately, bypassing traffic altogether. Well, we had that before, didn't we? So that is going to be really interesting, that bus-only roads and service vehicle-only roads, which I think is a new one. And I think we're seeing here some pedestrian streets as well, which it mentions, which we can have pedestrian paths, pedestrian bridges, and the pedestrian streets. So all of those together will work absolutely brilliant. There we go, and that's what we're seeing in this picture here. We've got the suspended pedestrian path, I'm assuming on the right, and then the left has got the pedestrian street with some type of row house on, and maybe is that sort of tram going through the middle. So yeah, I'm glad that's included in the base game, so that'll be exciting to use. And then it talks about pre-made intersections, and it does clarify that they can be placed in empty areas or over existing roads, connecting the intersection to the existing road network automatically. They include complex highway intersections as well as pre-made transition pieces that can be placed between highways and regular roads. So exciting to see some of the things that are going to be available. I mean, this one is being shown as a pre-made intersection. So if that is in the game already, that's great. But with all the tools that we've got, making them ourselves is going to be so much easier. And then the 4 different size roundabouts, all the way from small suburban up to large roundabouts. And it says you can just place them as we've seen, and it will take on board the configuration of the roads we've got already. But then interesting, it says the vehicles follow roundabout traffic rules when entering and exiting the intersection or the roundabout. So how that's going to work in real life in the game, again, that'll be great to see, because Cities Skylines 1 roundabouts without other mods didn't work that well. So having them being promised as working well in the game already at the beginning without mods again. So we're talking before about pocket cars, and under the parking lot section it says vehicles have to park somewhere when citizens aren't driving them. I'm assuming you can't park them in your pocket. That's what we're trying to get to. So we've got parking lots and parking structures. So that to me would say, you know, road size, big stack parking lots, parking buildings, that sort of thing. Roadside parking, parking facilities it mentions. But this is good. When citizens plan their way around the city, their decision making is affected by the availability of parking in a manner similar to public transport options. So again, that to me would say no pocket cars, because they're going to look and say, I want to go over there. I've got 2 choices, A or B for shopping. A has parking, B doesn't. Well, I can't use pocket cars anymore. That was the old city we used to live in. We need to find a parking lot. So yeah, anything like that, very good. Gameplay decisions is excellent. And also someone to find a parking lot as close as possible, regardless of the cost. Others are willing to spend more time walking from a far away but affordable parking spot or public transport stop. So we can charge for parking, that sounds like, which will be great. So charge more for parking in busy areas, perhaps less in other areas. The info view can show us availability of parking as well as its usage level, so we can make decisions. So again, more gameplay features being added, which is great. Anything that adds choices to me as the game player is just brilliant. So road maintenance depots available from the beginning, fighting wear and tear, decreasing the chances of traffic accidents. Now that was pointed out in previous videos, cars across roads at weird angles, people saying that's traffic accidents. So traffic accidents confirmed. Snow plows during the winter, you can see some snow plows going out there from that one, which is good. And talking of traffic accidents, it says when they occur, it halts traffic, causes gridlock until they are secured and cleared. And that's what road maintenance does. They take care of the aftermath of the traffic, clearing debris and allowing traffic to continue safely. So whereas before you could not put road maintenance buildings down and it really wouldn't affect your city that much. When it was down before in CSL1, it would speed the roads up, but you could sort of leave it. But now if you leave it, traffic accidents, blocking up your traffic. So another thing to keep in mind. Then it was mentioned the traffic lights, crosswalks, stop signs, control turn lanes. So I'm interested to see how much we can do with that, whether it's individual road lanes. I mean, if we look at the road to the left there, we've got a dedicated left and right turn, but it doesn't look like there's a straight on road. And if there was, I want to know whether you could make just one of them straight on or whether it would make both straight on, how it works. Be interesting to see. Wide sidewalks, trees, noise pollution, and beautify the roadsides. Not mention the charm, so I'm just wondering whether that is adds charm as in how it looks rather than a game mechanic, but we will see. We will find out more as we go along. Let me know what you think. Then the question, which road features are you looking forward to? Well, you can let me know that in the comments below. And as we mentioned, be sure to subscribe, because next week we are going to be back on Monday for a deep dive into the Dev Diary, looking at traffic AI. Oh, can't wait to see that one. Thanks very much for your support. Don't forget to leave a like as well, and then check out the next video on the screen. I will see you all very soon for the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.